Good evening. Afternoon? Shit. Good afternoon. I'm Sue, and I hate video games. It's time to play Dark Souls 2, the one people hate, because it's different. I say that with some confidence, that it's primarily because it's different, because that's literally why people say they hate it. I find it to be a much more relaxing game because while it's still just as janky and broken as other Dark Souls titles, it's slightly less janky and broken. It's also, in combat, a much slower paced game that requires a lot more thought and allows you to be a bit more aggressive than Dark Souls 1 and 3, which really force you to react in most cases. You can only really counterattack, and it gets frustrating. Alright, can my voice still be heard? Yes. Can the game still be heard? Yes. Excellent. We are good. So I believe we're just about to finish up the first area. Alright, I started another character the other night just because I wanted to try out pyromancy. Realized you can't start out as a pyromancer in this game, so went with sorcerer temporarily. But today's character is Lane Dulac, who we've been playing on stream here. I like her a lot too. I have no idea what the reasoning is for the order of the characters. I don't know why my second newest character is at the bottom and my newest character is at the top. It's very strange. Hey there, B. Also, hey there to Mox and Christy. So, here we are. The Clown King Queen. Ready to go to a boss fight that won't be there. Because we killed him a long time ago in a fight you're normally supposed to run away from. That is, I believe, I can't say for certain, but I believe it's the biggest sword by mass in the game. I have a longer sword, but I believe this one's bigger in mass. Let's see. Do I still have... Oh, I also have the Fume Ultra Great Sword, which... Well, it's melting. It's not upgraded. But the biggest, longest sword in the game is this. This is the Great Sword, which is not classed as a Great Sword, but rather an Ultra Great Sword. I like this one a lot, but I figured out with a little math that I could do a lot more damage with this one. I also like big swords, if you can't tell by my many Dark Souls streams. Alright, we can get a couple of treasures now, I believe, right? Not good treasures. Now, a lot of people really hate the one behind this door. They say it's useless. I find it to be great support, but I don't need it now because my crown does essentially the same thing, but a little slower. But this is the Ring of Restoration, which just restores your health over time. Alright, there's a... No, there's no one else over here. Is there a secret door in this one? It's been a while, if you can't tell by my fumbling around. No, it's not here. This is the other direction to go, and we don't really need to go this way till the end of the game. Also, there's phantoms here ready to try and kill me. So that's fun. No, don't hit me. That's rude. No, you don't... Wow, that hit me. That's lame. Oh, shit. Oh, I need to actually have my Estus flask equipped, huh? There we go. Now, these phantoms are not here in the regular game. This is a New Game Plus thing. There's extra phantoms just all over the place. Now, I would like to point out to the mods, this game has a generally better community than the rest of the series. This game and Bloodborne, I should say, have a generally friendlier community. But still, it does say Dark Souls on it, so be prepared in case a certain type of person joins the chat. Alright, so anyway, we killed them. Exploration platformers are always just so good with creative weapon design. I don't know about always, but it's certainly one of the things that can be associated with them. Just remember, Dark Souls is specifically a clone of Castlevania 2, with a lot of mechanics from Castlevania 64. You know, the most hated Castlevania game. But people love Dark Souls because they can say it's super difficult. I stand by saying that these are not terribly difficult games. They have an extremely steep learning curve, mostly due to being poorly thought out mechanically. However, once you get a few tricks down, they suddenly become much, much simpler. Yes, this is the biggest armor set in the game. Can you tell I've gone big? This is Havel's armor. In Dark Souls 1 and 3, which happen presumably later on in the timeline, Havel's armor has turned completely to stone to match the name of its former inhabitant, Havel the Rock, who was a priest and a general. But this is what it looked like before. There's also a helmet, but I like being able to see my face, so I wear the crown instead. Let's see, Rampart Golem. Where is Havel's helm? Did I sell Havel? No, there it is. So that's what Havel looks like. Or would. Him and his knights would look like in this game. There's a couple of his knights in this game, but Havel himself doesn't appear. The undead Havel does appear in both Dark Souls 1 and 3 in his stone armor. In Dark Souls 1, at the bottom of some random tower for no reason, because any content actually involving him seems to have been cut. And in Dark Souls 3, he's in Dragon's Roost because, well, he wanted to kill the dragons. Yes, the checkpointing is dumb. It's intentionally... Intentionally? That's hard to say. It's hard to say whether a lot of things are intentional in these games. But it's set up so that it's as inconvenient as possible. That's one thing that these games are severely difficult? Why was I saying... That's one game... I can't talk at all, I've just woken up, I apologize. That's one thing that these games are notorious for among people who don't worship them, is they sort of replace the idea of difficulty, there's another phantom, with inconvenience. And then because it's so inconvenient to play them, people start seeing their patience as skill. The exact point I gave up on Dark Souls 3, the checkpoint where you have to run through a rain of explosive arrows and stun-locking enemies to get to... I know exactly what you mean, but there is actually a way around that one. And I'm going to tell you right now. If you head past... Okay, so you know the meadow area in the area that you're in that has a big ravine through it. And there's a small bridge across the ravine. One way leads to the sewer, and the other way leads to a tower. What you have to do is go to the tower and you'll meet Siegfried, the best character in the game. You talk to him. He'll come up the elevator, or come down the elevator. Yeah, he comes up the elevator, and he'll tell you he can't figure out how to make the elevator go up, but that the guy shooting arrows is at the top of the tower. What you have to do is step onto the elevator and then run off of it as soon as it activates. And another elevator will come down, which you can step on to then ride to the top, talk to the giant, and make friends with him. And then his arrows will no longer harm you, but rather the enemies. Again, not terribly intuitive, but one of those few really satisfying moments of aha in the game. And that's the thing. You see, I really love these games. They're bad games. They're honestly not good games, but I love them for things like that. Alright, so this is the boss room. As you can see, there's no fog gate because the boss is already dead. We killed him the very first time he attacked because he's a chump. Honestly, I don't recommend playing through these games without following a guide. They punish you for exploring. And that's, you know, yet another terrible thing about them. They absolutely punish you for exploring and for not finding things that are not in any way hinted at existing. I love the sound this game is making right now. It's some good sounds. Alright, so this is the way to one of the next areas. You just have to stand on that and examine it. I'm gonna show you a secret real quick, which actually is a spoiler for later in the game, sort of. It's a hint at something that happened that you find out later in the game. You come down here, and you find some old corpse with some very impressive armor on them, and a very impressive sword. This is some of the strongest shit you can get this early in the game. Obviously, I don't need it because my shit is much stronger. Because this is New Game Plus. But it's really amazing stuff. And all you have to do is fall down a little pit. So I could go down there and fight that ironclad turtle. But instead I'm just going to turn him into a pincushion. Oh, he's running away. He's actually going to try and path to me. That's adorable. For anyone who saw my previous Dark Souls streams, you'll know that the pathing in these games is adorable. Yes, this game's... I like that you say Irish, because Drangleic, the kingdom that exists currently, is very much based in Ireland. Irish symbolism and such. The Firekeepers do not have a purpose because the first age of fire is ending, as the dragons are dying out. And the Emerald Herald, therefore, who is a lovely Irish woman, is the one who helps you along. No, they do not have world-class AI unless you're going in... unless it's opposite day. They have some of the worst AI I've seen in any 3D brawler. Alright, so this is going to another area which we're not going to complete right now. I have a specific order that I tend to do things in. Sort of based on perceived difficulty. And sort of based on the fact that I have primarily done this game following the guide on one of the wikis. So this is the Lost Bastille, which, again, we're not going to do right now. Especially because we want to find Lucatiel first. Lucatiel is another of the best characters in this game. Alright, so we check for mimics. That's extra important on New Game Plus because there's extra mimics, as we saw in the first stream. The very first chest in the game is a mimic in New Game Plus, just to catch you off guard, which is a dick move. There's the Dull Ember, which we'll bring to Macduff later. Not sure why Dark Souls 2 looks great shader-wise, and Dark Souls 3 has, like, early PS3 level shader. It's the art style. I think they both look very lovely. Dark Souls 2 is intended to look more vivid. A lot of the team that worked on the 2 is different. It's not like there's no crossover, like some people say, but it's got a much different team working on it. Alright, now I need to remember how to get to Heidi's Tower of Flame, which is our next stop. Now, I'm gonna warn y'all, some of these areas are gonna have bosses that are much stronger than they're intended to be because I've leveled up their bonfires. So that's gonna be interesting. I don't think I'm anywhere near a level up that many. This is the Emerald Herald. Lovely woman. Dark Souls 3 is supposed to be a bit more gloomy, and that's why the shading is mad. Yes, Dark Souls 3 is... Dark Souls 3 looks like a Tim Burton movie. While Dark Souls 2 looks more like, I don't know, almost Don Bluthian, with brighter colors to, what's it called? To stand out against the dark backgrounds. Like I say, just very different styles. I think that they all have just top-notch graphic work. They are gorgeous, artistic-looking games. I mean, look... I just want to point out this goddamn stairway. You go into it, and the camera moves in, and you see it just extending out below you. And to me, that's fucking beautiful. Dark Souls 2 looks like it takes place at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring, and Dark Souls 3 looks like it takes place at the end. That makes sense, which means that Dark Souls 1, which would be the middle game chronologically, takes place in the middle. A lot of people disagree with me on that, by the way. A lot of people insist Dark Souls 2 happens is either the second or third game chronologically. I don't think that's correct, and I think there's enough evidence to support what I'm saying, but I'm not going to fight people on it either, because some lore is in fact left open to interpretation, and it's all very well hidden. I did not know this chest was here for like the first 3 or 4 times I played this game. I'm just gonna admit that. I completely missed it. Now, there's 2 bosses we're going to be fighting. Man, I can't talk at all. There's 2 bosses we're going to be fighting at Heidi's Tower of Flame. One of them is, and again, this is something people will disagree with me on, Gwyn's eldest son, or Gwyn's firstborn, Ornstein. Mind you, there is actually dialogue that calls the Dragon Hunter the Nameless King and Gwyn's firstborn out as the same person, and we know for a fact that Ornstein is the old Dragon Hunter. Or Dragon Slayer, rather. He's the one who hunts the dragons. So, again, I think I'm right. Going to be fight is very good. Well, thank you. And this is Heidi's Tower of Flame. This is another thing people don't really like about Dark Souls 2 that I completely understand, is the world doesn't feel quite as coherent to them. I disagree with that. I understand the sentiment, but I disagree with it. I think the world is a lot more varied, but as you look to the background, you can still see where Majula is behind this building. Things like that. You can still see the rest of the world around you. It's just a much more varied world. And as you can see, we're at sea level, while Dark Souls 1 and 3 take place almost entirely on top of mountains. Oh, I think it looks a bit more Catholic. I can definitely see some of the Arabic influence you're talking about. But it's also a lot of Catholicism here, which again, very Irish. Also, bird people. There were bird people, I guess. Alright, so this guy doesn't do shit. This guy doesn't do shit right now. I could fight him, I'm not gonna because they're a pain in the ass. First thing we're gonna do is light the bonfire. After we kill the first boss here, those guys are going to wake up, and then they become a huge pain. And that's why I'm not going to bother with them right now. Oh, seriously? Oh, I didn't rest at the bonfire, so it didn't reset. There we go. My sword's bigger, fucker. At least wider. Get the fuck out of here. What are you thinking? Interesting how Bloodborne isn't at all about religion or anything that could be construed as controversial, right? How weird. It's okay, video games are never political, they just become political when people make them that way. Oh, I sound like a dumbass. Not even any birth imagery in it. My favorite thing about Bloodborne is that Patches has become a spider. So yeah, the rule of Dark Souls, as I stated last time, is nearly any human enemy can be beaten simply by circling them clockwise. There are exceptions in Dark Souls 2 specifically. There are not in Dark Souls 1 and 3. The reason you go counterclockwise, I probably said clockwise there, but the reason you go counterclockwise is because no one is left-handed in these games, and once you realize you can always circle counterclockwise, that starts to stand out, and it makes me a bit uncomfortable, honestly. I'm a clown. I can say anything with a straight face. My makeup just makes it look like I'm laughing. Oh, I definitely don't think it's an accident. I think they didn't fucking think about it, because it's a bunch of cishet right-handed dudes. I don't even know if it's about religion at that point, because Dark Souls 1 is about, like, a living god that you're going to replace. I don't know. I guess that's still very religious, but it focuses far more on the political aspect of it. The living god is more like a president in that. There is an extra dude here. Huh. Weird. Can I kill him? The answer is, of course I can. Oh, both of them are coming towards me. I need to get to a bigger platform to fight them. No, turn around. I wonder if they're poisonable. Probably not. Most things that look like they're made of inanimate materials, not inanimate, inorganic, can't be poisoned. Oh, that hurts. Not that much, mind you, because I have the highest physical defense, of any armor in the game. They definitely realized the circling problem for at least one boss in Bloodborne because they made it hard as fuck to circle around Gascoigne. Oh yeah, there's a few shitty bosses like that in this where they just pile on ads. Which is a crutch mechanic for a dev who can't figure out how to make something legitimately difficult. Nah, you can't hit me with that. Alright, come on. Yeah, swing. See what happens, fucker. This guy doesn't do shit. You're useless, dude. Come on, your friends needed you there. Sitting there feeling sorry for himself. Luckily, these games are buggy as shit, so if you stand at a specific point on the stairs and bait a certain attack, Gascoigne falls through the map. Yes! That's something I did in Dark Souls 3, is figure out how to abuse every boss to the point that you just kill them without getting hit. A lot of them, it's as simple as just continually backing away or circling around them counterclockwise. And others you can force through the floor. Like Pontiff Sulivan, one thing I was doing for a while to grind, what's they're called? Symbols of the thingy. Wow, I cannot think of things today. Oh my god. What's the damn word? Player info? No, it doesn't even say it there. In order to grind boss drops, we'll put it that way, I was setting up my symbol outside Pontiff Sulivan, getting summoned to the fight, luring him to a wall, and then just pushing him through the seam between the floor and the wall. Then I'd bow. I imagine a lot of people were incredulous. Yeah, you're dead too. Good job. He wants to sleep. Don't bother him. Aw, you're right. I shouldn't be so mean. Now, this is an interesting bit right here. If I don't kill this Heidi Knight and I summon my pal over there, he will automatically go and try to kill this knight and usually fall off and get himself killed because the AI is terrible. Yeah, that's a problem with all of them. These games are filled with beginner's traps. Oh, hi, I didn't see you. Dude. Okay, and... Oh my god, he jumped off after me. That was amazing. Oh, that was beautiful! Alright, this is what I look like undead, by the way. A lot less interesting. This is me hollowing. Let's fix that. Oh, that was amazing. I am so happy with that death. Alright, let's do that again. Now, here you get what would be an example of inconvenience replacing difficulty. This is not a difficult area by any stretch. However, if you fuck up, or if the game fucks you over, which does happen, again, less in this game than in other games in the series, there's a lot less falling through the floor in this one. But if you fuck up, you have to start all the way over from the checkpoint. And the checkpoints are spaced incredibly poorly. You can't sell them. I still want to play Bloodborne. I don't have a PS4 though, and I can't really justify getting one for just the one game. Like, Switch has a bunch of games I want to play. A bunch of games the whole family wants to play. PS4 really just has Bloodborne. Alright, let's do this again. Oh, okay. Apparently he doesn't respawn after the first time. I guess that makes sense since he's guarding the lever. Interesting. No, that doesn't make sense, because this guy over at the end of the bridge here is also guarding the lever and he respawns. That's just stupid. Who came up with this? I'm sure there's an emulator, and I'm certain my PC is not anywhere near good enough to play it. Alright, come on. Now, those guys won't attack till I kill this guy, so I'm not worried about luring him out. But I think one of the reasons I have so much patience for these games, and the fact that they just want you to wait, is because I grew up playing Earthbound, which, unfortunately, has a few similar ideas, in that it really likes to make you wait. The games are not similar in most ways, but that is something they have in common, and my patience with that carries through. I found myself not having that patience for Hollow Knight, as you may have seen from my posts. Hollow Knight is equally poorly designed in a lot of ways, and equally lovely. I just don't have the patience for it. Huh. That guy didn't respawn either. I don't recall these guys not respawning last time. That's strange. Alright, this time I'm gonna lure this guy up here so I don't have to deal with him and the Phantom at the same time. Let's try poison arrows. Let's see if I can knock a couple poison arrows into him to poison him. Doesn't look like it. Which means, yeah, my initial guess was correct. Oh, whoops. I thought I'd be doing enough damage to kill him. But in truth... Yeah, I mean, I'll probably play it eventually. One of these days, we're going to suddenly see ports of, like, Demon Souls and Bloodborne. It's going to be like 20 years from now, but we'll see ports of Demon Souls and Bloodborne on all sorts of things. It is going to take a while, but it is going to happen. Oh, a warning to viewers. You may hear dogs barking all of a sudden in the next hour or so. Between now and 5:45, between now and 6. Dogs might bark when Kristen, my sister-in-law, pulls up. Huh. I guess the Phantom didn't respawn either because he jumped into the fucking sea. Alright, let's take out this guy. He can be poisoned. Poison in this game is about as dangerous as toxic in the other games, which is the stronger poison. Toxic also exists in this game. Now let's just let him die. Good night, sweet prince. Also of note, Bloodborne has Castlevania in it. Well, that's good, because Dark Souls and Demon Souls are both already based on Castlevania 2. So they might as well actually throw Castlevania into it. There is a castle that you get to by carriage that is... I mean, that's a common old trope. But we can think of it as being literally Castlevania. It's definitely I believe you. Ring of Binding. What was the Ring of Binding? I've completely forgotten what half of these rings do. This is one of the best rings in the game, by the way. Oh, whoops. And then I just took it off for no reason. There it is. It increases your equipment load, your HP, and your stamina, but is easily broken, which basically means don't step into acid. And that, combined with the Royal Soldier's Ring, which also increases your equipment load, is what allows me to wear all this shit and still be able to roll effectively. They knew exactly what they were doing. I would not doubt that. Especially with Miyazaki having fairly little input on that game. So here's our Phantom for the fight. We're going to summon Masterless Glencore because I really like the Phantoms in this game. Not because they're particularly useful, though they're better than in Dark Souls 1, but because they have... They're these characters, a lot of them, that don't appear anywhere else in the game, yet you sort of get attached to them anyway, because you keep having them with you in these fights. Masterless Glencore has good taste in weapons. That's the Zweihander, my favorite weapon from Dark Souls 1. Some kind of wooden buckler that I don't immediately recognize, and a cute little armor set. So now we're gonna fight the Dragon Rider. I think Miyazaki would have his fans believe that Soulsborne's games are completely original and all is absolutely. That's absolutely the type of person he seems like. He very much comes off as an auteur. Alright, let's get him into the middle. Now we're going to circle around him to the right. I want to point out something about rolling in this game too. In the other games, rolling depends entirely on equipment load. There is nothing else to it. Specifically, it changes at, depending on the game, 30, 50, 70, 100%. This game changes it up. The length of your roll only decreases when you hit 70%. And then you do what is lovingly referred to as the fat roll, as you heavily drop to the ground. You can increase the number of invulnerability frames, but not the length. What? Of your roll by increasing a secondary stat called Agile, which I assume means agility, but who knows. And after 101 you start getting seriously diminishing returns, but every few points you get an additional frame of invulnerability. You increase that agility stat primarily by increasing your ADP, or adaptability, and your ATN, or attunement. I'm a primarily combat-based class, so I went more with adaptability. And yeah, it doesn't seem useful at first until you try it out. Once you, that's something you have to learn the hard way, really. But the more frames you get during that roll, the better. It is actually super important for most stuff. And again, that isn't explained anywhere in the game. These games have good tutorials for the basic stuff. Really good hand-holdy tutorials that don't feel overbearing at all. But some of their internal workings with the stats and such are not explained well. Bloodborne has no item weight, which is amazing, so you get a big roll no matter what. That must be a relief.
Are you from these parts? My name is Lycia. I have come to spread.
This is Lycia. She's a preacher.
I can see that you are well suited to comprehend their wondrous power. But the cost of it, that's for your heart to decide.
You'll see what I mean in a moment.
You deserve to have these, for your faith has truly deepened.
Hey Andy, good to see you. Oh look, I got the Saints stuff.
Go on, and
I guess my faith would be
miracles.
high enough by now.
With your faith, you deserve no less. I'd heard awful rumors about this place, and I'm afraid they were all true. The king, gone.
You just missed us fighting a boss where all we had to do to beat him was circle counterclockwise. So, you know, most Dark Souls bosses.
They may have scarce room in their hearts for miracles. Why did I come here? Well, do I need any other reason than to spread the gospel of miracles? My preceptor always said this art should be shared with the world. And such is my only wish.
She's so full of shit.
Sometimes I fight the urge to pack up and go back home. It is... well, I must do this. And being out here all alone only makes this a more fitting test of my fortitude. I expected this cathedral to be bustling, but there's hardly a soul to be found here. Without any goings-on, I'll have to move soon. To a place I could gull the... sorry. Help the gullible by teaching the good word.
She doesn't even particularly try to hide it. She's a con artist. She does sell some pretty legit miracles, though. Which I suppose I can use now, though I'd need more attunement to use them effectively, since I'd need more slots. Might be fun to grab a healing miracle eventually. What is her HP? See, I like gradual restoration stuff. Resplendent Life is a really good one. It takes 2 slots, though. Caressing Prayer is very effective. Shockwave Force can be effective in a certain build, but it doesn't really fit my playstyle. A con artist with a con-do attitude. Remember to keep that quote bot going. And yeah, the reason you always circle counterclockwise is because there's no left-handed swords. It's weird. There's a thing in, I think, the UI menu that lets you choose which hand to hold your items in. Well, that's excellent. A miracle created to help those who have lost their way reveals more messages from other worlds. I don't know if that actually reveals more, like, single-player messages. I believe it just causes more multiplayer messages to appear, but I could be wrong.
No need for miracles. The gods frown.
You can swap hands in this. Just, I want to make that clear. You can be left-handed. Kinda. I mean... Wait, can you not? No, it actually does not let you... Wait, yes it does. I was just not pressing the button enough times. Shit, which shield was I holding? King's shield. So you can be left-handed. Just no one else can be. It's okay, Andy. Just know that you can't do it again. Oops, right. I'm switching hands now. There we go. If I tricked you into quoting that pun, that means I'm a pro and a con. Which, I suppose, has its pros and cons. Ah, right. The Heidi Knights are awake now. These guys are incredibly difficult to stun, by the way. This build just doesn't give a fuck about that. This build is centered around hitting things with very heavy objects. Really, Andy? I thought it was your con-do attitude. Alright, let's lure this fuck out. Unconditionally. Ah. Oh, I missed. Sometimes it's hard to judge distance. That's more a fault of just 3D graphics in general. Calm down, Mox. Calm down. I don't understand why I don't get to be this big. Yeah, I know the feeling. Seems like a ripoff, right? Like, my best theory for why some humans seem to be this big is that humans actually interbred with the giants at some point. Which, of course, the humans would never admit to. Backstab. Yes, that's what I call a backstab. I was watching a Sekiro stream the other day and was having loads of trouble gauging distances. I appreciate that this one saw the flaming arrow whiz past and didn't react, like, oh, guess it's Arrow Tuesday again. Fatality. Well, there's still another one of these guys left. I'll take care of you. Just break out the Star Wolf voice. I am going to turn you into so much meat. Got a buffet over here. Hey there, Bad Road. It's okay, Bad Road. This game takes place tomorrow. Yeah, depth perception is pretty important when you're firing arrows, though some people without depth perception can get pretty good at it, I hear. So, weird thing about Dark Souls 1 that is not true in 2 or 3, and they didn't fix in Dark Souls Remastered, is the arrows don't actually go where you aim them in Dark Souls 1. They go a fair distance to the side, so you actually have to adjust like that. It's really strange. I have no good explanation for it. Alright, come here. I'm gonna fight you alone. Fighting in groups is possible, but it's usually not a great idea. You've seen that I tend to take hits when I'm fighting alone. Oh. See what I mean about them being hard to stun? Oh, come on. Missed. There, now you die. Thank you for the quote, Mox. Tried an Archer early build and it went poorly. It's so awful. Like, once you figure out where to actually aim, it's not so bad. But I wouldn't recommend maining archery in that game. Arrows don't go where I aim them in Mountain Blade either. That's why I usually go melee. In this, they literally do not go where the reticle points. It's awful. Not in this, but in Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 2 and 3, that's corrected, which is why I don't understand why they didn't fix it in Remastered. Come on. This way. Come on. Into the big room. Come on, we're gonna fight. Let's do this. Do some. What? It's not fair that we can't pick giant characters. I would like to actually play this from the point of view of a giant. Most of the giants are dead. Or enslaved, mind you. So you'd actually have to play an earlier game than this to play as a giant. Though it would be cool to play as one of the giants, the beings of light, fighting the war against the humans, the beings of darkness. It's one of my favorite things in this game is that humans and hollows are both creatures of darkness. Meaning that going hollow isn't actually losing your humanity. The unhollow undead are, of course, beings of flame. Ooh, that hurts. Didn't like that. Don't do that again, dude. That's what I get for trying to roll backwards. It's usually not a good idea. It's instinctual to try and roll backwards from some of the attacks, because it looks like that should be the way to do it, but it rarely is. All that kiting and then one slice. It's like you just wanted them to die out of breath. I just didn't want to attract the other one first. Alright, so we've got one more knight to fight. And then we've got to fight that guy. Now this is the Guardian Drake over here, or Guardian Dragon. Depending on what you want to call him. He's in, or one of them is in every game. It's a reference to Demon Souls, and that's basically it. In Demon Souls, they're part of the story. They're fighting you off as you try and enter an area. They show up repeatedly and keep trying to kill you. In Dark Souls, they're just there because it's a Souls game, and Souls games have dragons guarding bridges. Yes, the giants are Kingdom Hearts. I'd like to play any game from the point of view of someone who isn't exactly 6 foot. Wouldn't that be nice? The only games that have notable amounts of size disparity are fighting games. And Dark Souls. And yes, the Moonlight Greatsword is... The Moonlight Greatsword actually has lore, which is explained very well in this game specifically. But there are definitely things that are there because it's a Souls game, and that's what Souls games have. It's like they got a list of things in Souls games, and we're like, okay, so that's what's in a Souls game, put that in the Souls game. Dark Souls 1 opens with dragons were wiped out, and then like an hour in, look, it's a dragon, and then the story didn't seem to do anything with it. They claim that's a drake, but then in this game, the drakes are dragons. It's... yeah. I think that the lore is fairly consistent in most ways, claiming the dragons were wiped out. In this game, it also claims the giants are wiped out, which they clearly aren't. The giants and the dragons are important parts of the world. Mind you, the one race that was wiped out was the humans. Its appearance in Bloodborne made me realize that it's just for wankery reasons, and that they have the Moonlight Greatsword. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's just racism, Bad Road. I guess once you're at the extremely endangered stage, wiped out is a close enough descriptor, sure. No, I'm not a human, I'm an undead. I am what happened after the humans died. We are no longer creatures of darkness, we are creatures of the flame, and the flame keeps us alive. Humans are kept alive by darkness and lust for power and death, because humans are awful. Dark Souls 3 has the Ashen, which are poorly explained. Supposedly the Ashen are bits of ash from many, many undead who burnt up and became as one. But then Sigvard and a few others are also Ashen, and they have memories of a life as a human. Henri, for instance. So it's not well explained. It's like there's explanations, but it's almost like they're all intentionally wrong. And I say intentionally very tentatively because of the series we're talking about. Is the flame what's in your juice box? Yes. Alright, so now we're gonna fight the Drake. Oh no, we're gonna fight this Chungus first. Did not remember you being here. Oh, I guess we're gonna do both. Okay, that... well, as long as it hurts you too. Ooh, nice. Yeah, finish your combo. I'm finishing my drink. What's in my juice box is Estus, which is, again, something that's not really explained because it doesn't really need to be. It's just a favorite of undead. I want to play as Kobold in Monster Hunter or something and have a dagger sword. That'd be great. Neverwinter Nights, while it's not a game that really holds up well, has a Kobold character that you can have join you, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so, the thing we do here is we wait for him to finish blowing fire. Then we make a mad goddamn dash for him. And fuck it up completely. Take a drink. Start chopping at his ankles. And I'm much too strong for this. That's supposed to be a mini-boss. It's not a terribly difficult fight, though one that gives you no clue that it's actually possible to win. And most people will tell you to fight him with arrows. So normally the way you would fight him without taking that massive amount of damage I did at the start is to start running at him while he's asleep. The problem is, to fight that phantom, I needed to wake... he woke up when I activated the phantom. So that wasn't an option. Fortunately, I'm so ridiculously powerful that it didn't matter. That is actually called the Guardian Dragon when you fight stronger versions later on. Like, hey look, more Chungai! Man, they don't even want to use their shields. That's not smart. Oh, crap. It's fine. I'm going this way for a sec, though. Here, we're gonna back off a bit, get my bearings. Oh good, one of the phantoms just gave the fuck up. Really? You're gonna try and knock my shield out of the way? And then you're gonna roll the wrong direction? Oh my god, you suck. A rash of Chungai. Oh, that's not bad. No, that's not Praise the Sun. This is Praise the Sun. Yeah, I don't know why the AI has managed to actually get worse over time. Dark Souls 3 is just exceptionally terrible, with enemies pathing halfway to you, then giving up and running off. Alright. So generally you don't want to fight on slopes. Technically being lower down on slopes makes you harder to hit, but unfortunately, being on a slope period makes the way hitboxes interact really iffy. So I much prefer fighting on flat ground for the most part. Oh, you're running away, huh? Well, how do you like some poison arrows? You fucker. Thank you for the 100 sandwich bits, Mox. $110 because of the bonus sandwich. Oh, sorry, were you returning to your original spawn point? I didn't mean to interrupt. Alright, so the fight in here is Ornstein. Or if you don't want him to be Ornstein, he can just be a guy who's wearing very similar armor to Ornstein, and has the exact same attack pattern, and lives in a very similar room to Ornstein. You can just see it as an Easter egg. Though I definitely believe that Ornstein being Gwyn's firstborn and then being here makes a lot of sense. If it walks like an Ornstein and fights like an Ornstein, well then goddammit, it's a smat weight. Bring it on, fucker. Now guess how you beat Ornstein. If you guessed circle counterclockwise, He's sticking very close to this pole. Good thing he just broke it. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, I fucked that up. That's okay. He didn't bother reacting to it. It's very annoying. Thank you. That's an attack he can't normally use. That's a Smaug attack that he gets from absorbing Smaug's power in Dark Souls 1. So whatever. Oh, come on. Every so often you have to give up and go clockwise. Oh! He just nicked me with the side of his spear. Oh, that hurt. Oh look, you're dead. The fuck you gonna do about it? You fight bosses exactly like you would fight someone in Soul Calibur or Tekken. Yeah, but a bit more button mashy. That's another thing that the community likes to harp about, is saying that you can't, or that the game punishes you for button mashing. And in my experience, that's kind of bullshit. This game, which again is the one people don't like, is less button mashy than the other two. You can get through a lot of Dark Souls 1 and 3 just by button mashing. People just want these games to be much harder than they are. Also, never hit the chests more than once because the wooden ones will break. He fights like Volga. I'm not sure who Volga is. Now, if I were online, this Covenant... Covenant, that's the word I was looking for earlier. If I were online, this Covenant would allow me to come in and help people, but I'm not online, so oh well. Oh, Hyrule Warriors, gotcha.
Transient being, you have obtained proof you are worthy of joining our order. You may call yourself one of us, and are free to plant your roots in this garden of the gods. Be proud. I, Targray, do proclaim from this day you are a Knight of the Blue.
Yes, breaking the chest
Rejoice
does destroy the items in
bask
it.
in your new honor.
No, we're gonna stay in our current Covenant.
Do my ears deceive me? Who would refuse such magnificence? Gods have mercy on this half-wit. He knows not.
Wow, did he just misgender me? Wow, this game does not normally do that. As a non-trans intersex woman, that stings a little. The biggest difference between Dark Souls and Hyrule Warriors is that I've played Hyrule Warriors. Alright, so that's Heidi's Tower of Flame. Next is No Man's Wharf. I expected that to take longer than it did. No Man's Wharf is a pretty cool area. It's almost like one of the big, dumb, wide-open maps that the series is known for by people who don't like it, and which I will harp on about a lot. because those giant open maps are fucking terrible and completely go against the nature of how the game's designed. Except they actually do something nice with it and kind of stack it up like a staircase. Hyrule Warriors is good because it portrays Impa and Zelda as definitely not lesbians, wink wink. Alright, well, before we head to No Man's Wharf, I'm going to take a quick BRB. So, sit back and listen to these lovely ambient wind sounds. Okay, I'm back. A jump scare. And I guess we'll head back to town real quick to spend some of this XP. The secret to not losing all of your souls in Dark Souls is to spend them all. I know that seems obvious when I put it that way. Did I never open up his shop? Wow, I'm sorry, Lenny. Let's do a couple things in town real quick.
But first,
the other secret is to just not give a shit. Just assume once you die that your souls are lost and that it doesn't matter. You'll enjoy the game a lot more then. Don't go for your bloodstain unless it happens to be on the way. Don't care about it. It doesn't matter. Yes, this Majula, I believe, is where Firelink Shrine is later erected, because this is where the fires are linked together. They call this the Far Fire right now.
you stand the name, and you a man, not Roman.
Oh, I should probably listen to his dialogue, huh?
Your equipment. Let me have a look.
But this is Lenny. He's pretty cool. He's a blacksmith. His body's starting to rot, but his mind seems to be all there. He never acts like he's going hollow. This game has some of the saddest stories for characters, I'm going to warn you. Because the hollowing curse at this point in time isn't really understood. People don't know what it is, and they don't... The few that do know what it is are just slowly fading away, and the people who don't are also slowly fading away, but they don't even know it to be sad about it. Could you ask him to make your sword twice as big or you twice as big? I don't think so, no. He sells arrows, though. That's pretty cool. Alright, and he sells that. I may as well buy his one repair powder. He can reinforce stuff, which do I have enough stuff to... Yes, I do. Alright, good. I can reinforce my shield to max level. Gaston, are you gonna come up on the couch with me, baby? Come on. Come on. Come on, sit up here with me. This is a good baby. It's a good baby. There we go. Now my King's Shield is maxed out. Everything I'm wearing is maxed out. We're good.
I'll be around.
Oh, you want to sit right behind me? What's going on? Whoa, 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 whoa. No, you can't sit there. There's equipment there. There's fragile stuff there. You can't sit there. No, Gaston. I see. You didn't want to sit by me. You wanted to sit on my pillow where I put stuff. I see how it is. There's a size limit in this game. What is this, the fucking Ness? I'm with you. I'm as big as you can possibly be. I have the biggest body type, the biggest armor, the biggest sword. I could put on a bigger helmet, but I really like this crown. Once you beat a certain boss later on, it also makes you immune to hollowing, very briefly. because that wears off after you finish the game. Right, we accessed this too, so we may as well take a look around in the old mansion. See lots of books. Someone clearly liked to study. Oh, he's dead. Whoever liked to study, he died. Now, this is the basement. This is the spot that you're supposed to worry about. This is Drang Lake. And this, presumably, is the Far Fire, where we are. You can see the river that goes through the woods. Yeah. It's just a cool little thing. I was hoping you were going to say it makes you bigger, but immune to hollowing is also cool, I guess. Yeah, that'd be great, especially since the king is massive. Goddamn skeletons always getting in my way. Give me some effigies. No, right. I don't want to run all the way back to the fucking... I don't want to run all the way back to the bonfire to light this. There we go. Yes, there's boners. Welcome to Dark Souls. We have boners. It's an Estus flask shard that I can't use. There's a highly decorated metal chest, which is not a mimic. I can tell because it didn't freak out and scream. And in it is a soul vessel, which is what you use to reallocate your stats. So, did y'all know that there is a coffin in this game that performs automatic GAS? I always thought that was pretty cool. Fuck, where was the stairway up? There's a second floor to this mansion. Here it is. Don't worry, everything in this game is a goddamn coffin. It's not trying to say anything about GAS. Though you could say something about dead names, I suppose. Risby, chill. How come we don't have that, right? That should be a real technology in real life. So that's Risby starting to bark. I don't think he's gonna full-on bark. He might, though. But that was Christy pulling up into the driveway, so my sister-in-law is home. Oh, the piggos! The piggos are after me. I guess they somehow saw me on the roof. And now they don't realize I'm out here. So they're still trying to path up to the... Okay. Oh, this one knows I'm here. These are the angry piggos. We saw them last time as well. Oh, did this one They still don't realize I'm here. They're going back to their spawns because they ran too far. No, this one's pointing at me. Alright. The AI corrected itself eventually. I got stuck in the stairs there for a second. That was good. Alright, so I think that's all we have to do here in town. Other than level up and buy stuff. Alright, we got her important stuff. Yeah, I know. I didn't buy your shit.
Bearer, lest this.
Alright, level up. Gaston, quit that. Whenever you roll through the air, I think you're going to roll into a sword slam. That'd be wonderful. Alright, I've got a couple of levels I can spend this on. I've got diminishing returns going on with a lot of my stats already. So I'm thinking... See, look at that. I'm only getting 1 dark bonus there. Excuse me. I could bring strength up to 50. Not terribly useful. I mean, I couldn't right now, but over time. Dexterity also helps. God dang, just a second. Let me mute this while I cough. Oh, they're terrible. There's a help option that helps somewhat, but the problem is the things it refers to, it doesn't necessarily explain what those are. And the whole thing just looks so complicated, it's intimidating at best. It makes me feel like I'm looking through RAM. That is not a bad comparison. I suppose I could keep raising attunement in order to increase my spellcasting speed. Let's at least raise my spellcasting speed a bit, because I do use one specific buff. And then let's raise my vigor a point, get myself over 1600 HP. Alright, we'll see you soon, B. Thanks for coming. And now we're going to head to Heidi's Tower, Tower of Flame, and out into No Man's Wharf, which I think this is the right way. Yeah, this is right. Here's a spiral staircase. The camera doesn't like these. Make sure you move the camera manually, or else you'll get very sick. Monastery Charm. Oh, right. Here's another knight. This one's got a great sword. It's not as great as my sword, but it's pretty good. This is my sword. It's pretty great, and also mine. And there we go. Now we're down in another dark, gloomy hallway. I want to point out something about Dark Souls. The games aren't terribly dark. They don't happen at nighttime. It's primarily, honestly, very bright out. They should maybe be called slightly dim Souls? Welcome, Christy. I shared Katie's Monster Hydro. I noticed something on the packaging. It says Monster Hydro lightly sweetened. And then the second ingredient is sugar. Also, it's extremely sweet. So I definitely feel very lied to. It's delicious, but it's a lie. And Sublime Bone Dust is what you'd normally use for increasing the strength of your Estus Flask, but it doesn't go past +5, which, as you can see down here in the corner, Do I have a point emote equipped? Down here in the corner. Yeah. Mine's already at +5. Everyone stopped making the lemonade tea energy drink, so you got an orangeade thing. Oh. That's disappointing when your favorite flavors get discontinued. I can absolutely relate. Katie and I really liked Nos Fruit Punch way back, and it got discontinued in flavor of cherry, which no one liked, and it got discontinued. They did not then bring back Fruit Punch. They just decided no more red Nos. Risby, she's already in. You don't need to guard the door. You don't need to wait at the door for her. It's fine. It's really fine. That's something that just Nos does. There's 3 companies that make the kind of drink I want, and they all decided at the same time. Ouch! Yeah, I actually can't think of any other Fruit Punch energy drinks. Otherwise, I probably would drink them. Regardless, it's a similar feeling of loss, though. Oh, right, there's guys hiding in the water over here. Not well, mind you. Nothing in this game hides well, except things that are actually impossible to spot until they instantly kill you in these games. Not that I think it's poorly designed or anything. Beginner's traps that instantly kill you and end your game. Oh no, those are just fine and not at all bullshit. I don't remember what's past this guy, but I don't think it's important. So I'm not going to waste my 1 branch on him. That's something that I should actually grab a guide for. Is to make sure I don't miss any of the branches. I'm sure I can bring up a list pretty easily. In fact, let me do that real quick. Sit down at this bonfire first. I don't know what it is about streaming that causes my nose to clog up. It never fails. Let's see. Fragrant branch of your locations. Alright, looks like there's a list on the fandom wiki, which is the one I generally prefer to use where I can. Right, availability, there's one in Sinner's Rise, Harvest Valley, Iron Keep, Shaded Woods. Okay, this is incredibly incomplete. Holy shit. Okay, that's for the original version where there's far less. Alright. 10 new branches are available in addition to the 7 in the base games. I don't need to worry about those 7 yet. Are there any in No Man's Wharf? There's one in the Lost Bastille near Strait of Olafus. No, that's usage. Shit. Forest of Fallen Giants from Merchant Hang Valentia. Yeah, we've got that one. Need the King's Ring to access the place unbeknownst. No Man's Wharf. In a house on the far side of the wharf, near the pier where the ship docks, a branch can be found. Okay, that's near the end of No Man's Wharf. I will try not to miss that one. So how's everyone doing? Again, apologies for my coughing and everything. Ah, Jesus. Alright, back. Alright, I actually need to click into the game. Huh, silly me. Bodies are animals, this is true, and I can't deny it. I mean, I could, but I'd be wrong. I cannot provide evidence to the contrary. I went the wrong way. Silly me. Welcome to No Man's Wharf. You'll note that in No Man's Wharf there are in fact men. Lots of them, in fact. Norman's Wharf. There we go. Alright, let's go back and light the torch real quick. I forgot about this. There's a lot of sconces to light in here. Which I don't actually remember if these ones do anything other than make it bright. They give you places to hide from a certain type of creature, but that creature doesn't actually bother you as long as you have a Pharaoh's Lockstone, which we have lots of. I don't think there's any special secret to get from the sconces here. They are not Wisconses, by the way. So don't get it confused. That's the name of the state. And this is what I get for trying to fight a bunch of guys without a shield. No, wait. That's not how that happened. Let's try again, shall we? That's the second time I've died by being randomly pushed off into the water, and I love it. Yeah, that's what happened the first time, too. A guy pushed me over the edge and then dove in after me. It's becoming a pattern. Hey, Xenon, and wow! That is a whole bunch of extra messages that just came through in chat over here. I don't know why that just showed up like 30 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, well thank you for subscribing 11 times for 19 months, Xenon. Truck, paw, truck, gay drinks, paw, truck, slocks, gay party. Twitch is a flawless masterpiece, like Dark Souls, exactly. I know, right? 11 subs in a row, that's amazing. Absolutely in awe of this girl. Her sub is an absolute unit. Oh, bye. Alright, come on. Come on, zombie dog. You are clearly ripped off from Resident Evil. No, zombie dogs were not an original idea. However, the ones in Dark Souls do look a lot like those same zombie dogs. Now, let's kill this guy real quick. He's very annoying. Oh, right, that guy flips around and starts attacking. Okay, my lock-on didn't work. That's good. I like it when the lock-on doesn't work. Which, you know, I better because it doesn't work like a third of the time. Got some Wii games for your shovelware showcase with Vsauce Slime Stream. Excellent! That sounds like a lot of... The fuck? Who just did that? What the fuck just happened? Why did that sconce just explode? I have no idea what just happened there. Did that guy throw a bomb? But he's not aggroed. I have never seen that before. What the actual hell? You know, Vinny Vinesauce's Shovelware Showcase stream? It's like that, except it's Shovelware Showcase with Vsauce slime. And that's me, Xenon Fox. Yeah, it doesn't work if there's another character directly next to it. In this case, the closed parenthesis. Parenthesis? Does this mean your middle name is Fiber and your last name is Fox? I thought her middle name was Vsauce. Yeah, I have no explanation for why that sconce exploded at me. I played through this game most of the way on New Game Plus for several runs. New Game Plus, etc. I have never seen a sconce explode. I am a little weirded out. Good old Bradley. Fiber optic slime. All right. So, for those of you just joining us, we are currently punching zombies with a sword. For those of you surprised by this, I'm not sure what you were expecting. This one's safe. Bradley, quit standing directly in my way. That's something Phantoms do a lot in Dark Souls 1 and 2, that they do a lot less in 3. It stands just directly in your way. In Dark Souls 3, you can push them out of the way very, very easily. In Dark Souls 1, it's almost impossible. And they will just block you. It's terrible, and the Phantoms in Dark Souls 1 are terrible. In this game, they still do it, but they actually are useful, so I tend to forgive it a little more easily. Dark Souls 3 Phantoms are actually pretty good. Their AI is still bad, but they can be helpful, and they don't get in your way. No. Water's not death, just very deep water, because undead can't swim, we become waterlogged. See, this water's fine, because it's shallow. Also, have you ever tried swimming in this kind of armor? It's not easy. Did I? Yeah, I did light that. Good. Alright, we'll come back and light this sconce after we take care of this horde that's about to come after us. Oops, I just knocked him out of the way of your attack. Wow, the rest aren't coming out. Normally these guys... Oh, there he goes. Normally they aggro a bit quicker than that. They can't figure out how to navigate the slightly different height. They seem to be having a bit of a difficult time with it. I need to get one of those stream boards, specifically so I can put the song Follow the A&W Root Bear on one of the buttons, and play it every time the AI can't figure out how to navigate a simple obstacle. I know I could do it with our current soundboard, but... We tried with the soundboard. It didn't really fit what we're doing. Unlike the quote bot, which is amazing, continues to be amazing, and will continue to be amazing. All hail our new overlord. Welcome back, B. Good to see you. Wow, you just died in one hit, huh? You are not good at this. Aww, he thinks he ambushed me. How cute. Alright, bye Bradley, you didn't do shit though. Thinking your duty's completed. Little fucker. Shit. Fuck you, Bradley. Oh, but here's one of the... Here's another one of my favorite characters. It's not landlocked. It's by the ocean.
What is it? I don't know you, and you don't know me. Things are better that way. You are an odd one. Normally, people keep a safe distance when they see this mask. But you... I'm called Lucatil. From the land of Mira to the far east, across the mountains. They say Drang Lake brims with powerful souls. And so I came to claim my share. But what a strange place. Even the rumors did not prepare me. You are an odd one indeed. I've always made a point of avoiding people, while you've made a point of engaging me. I can see that you are mid-journey. If you require assistance, I will help you. I come from Mira, a land of knights. My sword is always ready. Don't hesitate to call upon me. Whatever happens, I won't be missed.
Lucatul is one of the few people who understands what's happening to her as she hollows, and let's just say she doesn't take it well. But she's on a mission to find her brother who disappeared and was rumored to be going hollow after he died and was resurrected as an undead.
You are an odd one indeed. Well, you've made a point of it. I can see that.
Alright, I've already heard your dialogue now. I'm gonna roll through these barrels. I'm gonna hit this table. Alright. That should add some levity. Wanton Destruction. The true key to levity. Alright, I'm gonna light a couple of sconces up here. As soon as I take care of these undogs. Torch. Yeah, if anyone can explain to me why I exploded when I lit my torch off that sconce, it would be appreciated, because I'm thinking real hard and I can't figure it out. Mimic. But I'd already lit it. I was lighting my torch off of it. If it were somehow a mimic sconce, which I'm fairly sure doesn't exist, then shouldn't it have exploded when I lit it and not double blind mimic? Gotcha. No, that scans. That makes perfect sense. Alright, now we're going to go this way and clear some stuff out real quick. This is very much an area where in New Game Plus I don't have to get everything. And that bone is really the only thing I'm going to make certain I get. But I am going to light all the goddamn sconces. Because fuck letting the sconces get away. Especially after that one exploded. Oh wow, you died quick, huh? Alright, come over here then. I love that spin attack this sword has. It's so good. This is a hard space for the big sword with all the tight houses to fight in. Not really, actually. You'd be surprised how effective just knowing how the hitboxes work is. Like, one thing that you don't want to do in one of these small houses is swing it horizontally. But as long as you swing it vertically, and the only way you want to swing it horizontally is after a roll, which cuts through all barriers, it's generally going to work okay. You just have to ignore what the game wants you to do. That's how you get good at Dark Souls. You don't use the mechanics... Oh, wow. Okay. Don't use the mechanics given to you. Use your own mechanics. Because the mechanics, as intended, are not any good. And that's when you start realizing that maybe the games aren't so hard. Once you just learn to ignore how the game is intended to be played. Whatever, man. Just roll around, button mash, circle counterclockwise. With a little creativity, you can tell the game to go fuck itself. Oh, that didn't hit? Oh, yes it did. Just delayed reaction. Alright. Normally these guys are a bit harder to see. I just already know where they are. Don't worry about it. Alright, so this is what makes lighting all the sconces actually pointless. Because now the whole place is lit up. Lit up like a goddamn sun. Speaking of which, praise the lantern. Thank you, Mox. And that's the thing, when you're playing a game that's viewed as player versus developer, which I don't think was the original intention of the Souls series, especially hearing Miyazaki say specifically that their games intended to be playable by anyone with a little practice. And then later on he decided he was all about difficulty when the fan base started putting it that way. But yeah, when people start viewing a game as player versus developer, that means it's not a very well-designed game and you should tell it to go fuck itself. Sup? You're dead. That's what's up. Oh, hi. Did not spot him in time. Combo! Oh, wrong emote. That's fine, we'll praise the lantern again. Now, anything that is truly player versus developer, the developer could always win. All they have to do is make you die. they can just put in a line of code that says you die, which is why the idea of player versus developer is fucking dumb. Big swords are actually surprisingly fast in these games when you compare them to the little swords. They are. The only things that you actually get a significant speed advantage on, I think. Oh, I don't have... Oh, yes, I do have the dagger. Which even then, it's a bit slower than in other games, because as I mentioned at the start, combat in this game is slicker, but slower than in, just in general, slower pace than in the other two games. But in Dark Souls 3, mashing on that dagger button is fucking nuts. Oh shit, we are 100 quotes away from quote 420. Like I say, keep that quote bot going. Man, what's our next goal after 420 though? I guess we'll have to think about that later. Ooh, can I make this jump? I've actually never tried this before. I wonder if this is possible. It probably is. You jump surprisingly far. Oh, easy. Oh, hi. Sorry, did I wake you up? Here, you can go back to sleep now. I take so little physical damage, I don't even care about tanking some hits. Yeah, you have to put together a very specific build to be able to tank attacks effectively, but it is possible. 690, then 420, 69. Oh, we'll get there, won't we? We will get there because I believe in y'all. Then 690, 420. We should... We should definitely go for 4,200 at some point, too. And then 4269 0? I don't know. 4269 seems like a pretty good one after that. So these, you see this dummy over here? These are the guys who you're lighting the sconces theoretically to be able to get away from, because they're afraid of light. And the things that Pharaoh's Lockstone contraption that lit this lantern, thanks to that, they can't actually do anything except this now. Isn't that great? Don't they look majestic in their natural habitat? I forget what they're called. It doesn't really matter. Most of the enemies in these games only have names given by fans. But they're like dark waddlers. We'll call them dark waddlers, because look at that waddle. Ooh, yeah, come after me. Oh, look, you can't come out into the light, you fuck. Oh, you're screwed, huh? I can just fight the melee, but, you know. Nah. Nah. Come at me. Come at me. Yes. Pharaohs is presumably still alive during this game, because Gwyn has not taken over yet. And all of his stuff was destroyed by Gwyn's army. Oh, you're gonna come at me? Well, that seems like a mistake, if I'm being honest. I'm much bigger and scarier than you are. Hey, Riz. We can't really praise the sun right now, but... Oh, no, no. He actually came out into light. One sec. I will Praise the false idol. So this game happens before the second Age of Fire and at the beginning of the first Age of Fire. Sorry, that's wrong. Happens before the beginning of the second Age of Fire and at the end of the first Age of Fire. Or the Age of Ancients, whatever you're calling it. The dragons rule at this point. Oh shit. Get the fuck away from me, dude. That's not cool. What an asshole. Y'all see that guy? And the canon ending to this game, spoilers, turn down the sound for a moment if you don't want to hear about how this ends, and then I will do this when the spoilers are over, alright? I'm giving you about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers starting now. So this game ends, canonically, there's 2 endings. One ending, you take on the throne and bring on the second Age of Fire. As the new undead, you would essentially replace Gwyn. The canonical ending is that this young person has the chance to take the throne and bring on the Age of Fire, and instead walks away looking for a better solution. At which point, Gwyn goes out and slaughters all the dragons and brings on the Age of Fire anyway. So Gwyn's a piece of shit. Spoilers over. I don't think it's particularly controversial opinion that Gwyn's a piece of shit. Okay, good job. Wiggle around and slap your face a bit. That'll help. Ooh, you missed. No, you didn't miss, actually. My bad. I spoke too soon. Oh, okay. We'll do this then. What do you do when you're afraid of light and you're on fire? Giant Goblin Spider, Mommy Long Arms, both good names. I'm still going to stick with Dark Waddler. I'm pretty proud of that. There's the Greatsword, which is, in New Game, this is where I immediately switched to an Ultra Greatsword build. I'm very happy that that sword is available pretty early in this one, because it's such a good sword. It kind of sucks in Dark Souls 1 compared to the Zweihander, which you can get literally within the first 15 minutes of the game. Yes, it's a mimic check. I know where all the mimics are in the first journey, but in New Game Plus, less so. But there's more mimics in this, so you gotta be a bit more careful. Don't think you can light the wall torch. But I'm gonna try it anyway. See, I didn't explode that time. That monster I fought looked familiar. It's certainly not an original design. The bosses are where the cool original designs come in Dark Souls. Oh yeah, I can light this. That's interesting. I'm not sure I've ever lit that before. It was just an idea that suddenly came to me. Huh. Maybe you guys shouldn't have been standing there. Honestly, I don't even know if they were going to attack me. They might have just been coming to greet me. I'm just jumpy. Now, this is something that's actually ridiculously easy to miss. A lot of people do. But you have to pull this lever once you get up here. And if you miss it, you can't come back up without circling all the way back around. But make sure you pull this lever. Because that summons the ghost ship. I just want someone, whether in D&D or a game otherwise, to create a mimic that just follows you around and repeats everything you say in a jerky tone. I just want someone, whether in D&D or a game or otherwise, to create a mimic that follows you around and repeats everything you say in a jerky tone. Yeah. Like that? A bat without wingman. It kind of does, doesn't it? That's an odd thought. I never thought of that. Just say you're a girl on Twitter. That'll just happen. That's true. The white cishet male's version of we don't care about your gender means we're going to assume that you're a white cishet male. It's especially frustrating for those of us who actually have deep voices. Because then they feel like they have leverage. Like, I'm gonna... a sea bow. I don't remember that being there. The fuck is a sea bow? Huh, that's a new one. I actually don't think that's there on the regular new game loop. Stop shooting arrows at me. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're sliding around at a weird angle. What is wrong with you? You get the fuck out of here, first of all. I don't want to deal with your shit. And you just... Oops. Fucked that up. Oh, not quite. There we go. Hit him right in the wrist. His one weakness. I got called a Big Trump fundraiser botnet today due to my hyperbolic response to enjoying a wrestling character arc. Weird. Sea bows. Merfolk fire them off the back of seahorses. That makes sense. The fuck did you come from? These guys are, like, actually pretty good for ambushes. Ooh, I got the mask. Didn't have that one yet. And it is pretty cool looking. I'm probably not going to switch to it. But it is a rad as fuck mask. Look at that shit. I am Burb. Does it have any special abilities? Used to hide in the cover of night, those who are especially adept assassins are often hired as bodyguards. In an attempt to stave off the curse, King Vendrick hired Shadowmen to put down the hollows, but before long they were hollowed themselves. So no special abilities, just really goddamn cool. A plague mask for a battlefield medic. A bit like that, yeah. Oh right, I still have that equipped, which I don't need right now. That's specifically for a bit later on. Which I may not even do on this run, because it's just kind of annoying more than anything. It's some very, the worst parts of Dark Souls level design. And it's at the bottom of each of the DLCs. Personally, I don't think 2 of the DLCs are very good at all. And they all have one long level at the very end that's optional. That's, I think, is just bloody terrible. Now we light that. Make things easier. Oh yeah, I mean, some of the levels are fine. No Man's Wharf here, I'm especially fond of. Not all the levels are bad. There are just some levels that are so bad that they make you want to vomit. My tweet was basically, man, that new Bray Wyatt character is actually scary, like it was intended to do. Kudos. I know Christy loves Bray Wyatt a lot. Like, I'm not going to go out and say any of, there's the branch I was after, any of the Dark Souls levels are designed particularly well, but there's some that at least reach middling. Inoffensive, even. But they're not all horrible. There are a few that are absolutely horrible. I don't know how anyone can think clowns are scary, honestly. And I will fuck up anyone who says differently. Do you get my joke that I just made? It's a good one. They are a demon. They are a clown. They are a demon clown! I think people are just liking to fling insults around right now, honestly. Because the less constructive we can be, the less will happen. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm just gonna take that hit. That was me intentionally not reacting. I'm not sure why, it just seemed like the thing to do. Let him get in one hit. He surprised me, so I thought, you know, give him this one. Oh, are they seriously doing another plural thing?
It's weird.
Because, like, the last person I saw do that well was Mick Foley a long time ago. He was respectful. In a strange way, he was respectful. And people are not respectful of the idea. There was a secret door somewhere that I'm missing, and I'm trying to remember what room it's in. Shit. So this
Who are you?
is
I, Gavlan.
Gavlan.
Gavlan will, Gavlan deal.
Please do not use the term
Gavlan
split
was
personality.
so
That is
many,
beyond
many
disrespectful.
Okay, sorry.
What
Let's
With
see.
Gavlan, you will, you deal.
Gavlan is awesome.
Gavlan deal.
Gavlan does not speak great English, but he
Gavlan
makes
wants
do.
Soul. Many, many souls.
Yes, Gavlan is the only person who buys
With
things.
Gavlan, you will, you deal.
He's earlier in the game than you get to sell stuff in Dark Souls 1, and he's more consistent about it. Either way, selling stuff in Dark Souls 1 and 2 is a pain in the ass in both. The thing that I really like about Gavlan is that if you watch his head move around and his beard twist, you'll notice his helmet's made of rubber. But yeah, Dark Souls 3 really beats both of the other games out on selling, since you can just do that. Gavlan doesn't need proper syntax as long as he can keep books. That's true. Alright, Gavlan also sells poison arrows. Not very many at first, but later on he gets unlimited arrows. He gets Solid Snake's headband. And other than that, he doesn't sell much that's very useful right now. But you can sell shit to him, which might as well empty out my inventory of useless shit. Actually, that's not going to be very interesting streaming and is going to take a while, so let's do that some other time. We're fine. I thought better of it for y'all. Alright, I need to remember where that next secret door is. It's in the back of one of these houses, and I don't remember which one. I think it's one of the ones on the east side, though. Doesn't Gavlan actually have a wheel? I don't believe so. I don't think there's any point where he has a wheel. But he sure is good at wheeling. I'm thinking it might be this house full of the land bats, the shadow waddlers, dark waddlers, is that what I said? Dark waddlers. Okay, there's no way. Is it behind these chests, maybe? Thing about it is that Finn isn't plural. He wears the power of the demon like a coat. Bray's kind of acting like the idea is he's plural, but it's not really good. Nasty. And people are really terrified of the idea of plurality again because of fucking M. Night Shyamalan. Because M. Night Shyamalan is a hateful piece of shit. And please don't watch his movies. If you must, please, I won't encourage you to pirate them. I would never do that. Oh no, he's a terrible director too. And writer. He does the thing Kojima did in Ground Zeroes. I don't know if Alice has talked about that, but in Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, there's a mission where you're supposed to rescue Kojima. And you know, normally a self-insert character is going, of like a game developer, is going to be kind of a wuss. You know, people are going to be a little more silly about it. Make themselves kind of, you know, they'll be a bit more humble about it. Instead, he's this top agent, sharpshooter, jeep driving badass, and then when you finally rescue him, and then while he's mowing down hordes of soldiers in a jeep, Miller is constantly on the radio talking about how amazing this operative is. and how none of this would work without him, and essentially saying, hey, Konami and critics, you all just don't understand me. I am the best, and no video game is good without me, Hideo Kojima. There's the secret door. It's so embarrassing to watch. So he basically just spends an entire mission jerking himself off in front of you. It's Ground Zeroes is Lady in the Water. Yeah, there's no real reason why he needs rescuing. He basically saves himself. And then at the end he just kind of falls over for no reason and you need to pick him up. So I guess he's anemic? That's why he needs rescuing? Got an iron deficiency? So that guy's dead. So's that one. Alright, we good? Is our friendly fire? What I'm asking is, can you murder Kojima in that mission? Yes, and then you'll be subjected to insults. People tell me that after you rescue him, you can get him to appear in your base in the Phantom Pain. But Alice did, and he hasn't appeared there, so she hasn't gotten to punch him in the face. You cannot escape the hugging arms. Alright, I'm not going to go all the way. It's not that far to the torch. It's fine. Light the sconce. Light the torch. Light the sconce. Light the sconce. Now it's a sconce. And this one. These guys are really rude. Y'all noticing that? I'm gonna make them apologize. Or die. One or the other. Alright, let's kick that down. I think there's a sconce up there. The guy up here is kind of a dick. You don't necessarily get the worst of it unless your intelligence is low. I mean, they're hollow. They're completely hollow. They're mindless at this point. Kojima's in Peace Walker 2, but getting him's like a 3-second cutscene, then he gets taken to your base where he's a master engineer and shit at everything else, which kind of makes sense. Oh, I don't really care about any of the people in Death Stranding. I'm not going there to watch or I'm not playing a video game to see a bunch of celebrities jerk each other off. Man, I've been using that jerk-off metaphor a lot today, huh?
I sense power. Very well. From this day, you shall be my new pupil.
I don't want to be.
I am Carillion.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Surely you've heard the
I knew you in a past life.
No, do not be afraid. Let us explore the limits of sorcery.
Not really into sorcery, more into hexes, dude. He reinforces the pyromancy flame too, which helps. And we will be getting a pyromancy flame up ahead, but we're not switching over to pyromancy on this character.
Ah, here, a fitting gift for you.
Northern Ritual Band
Seek
+1.
higher.
Yay!
One day might teach you. Do you
No,
see?
they won't.
The forces of magic and souls lie dormant in this land. It is a fitting place to hone my sorceries. I suspect that I may even conjure up new spells here. Sorcery is yet a mystery even to me. Let us mature together, young pupil.
Man, you're bad at this, huh?
Use scrolls to unleash the power of sorceries. But the power of each scroll is reliant on that of its owner. The untrained cannot wield a scroll to its proper potential. Never forget, young pupil, there are no shortcuts to mastery. The forces of magic and souls lie dormant. It is a fitting. I suspect sorcery is...
Yeah, we've
one
heard
day
it.
my teacher.
Your teachings are not going to save me because I don't use sorceries. Look, this staff, this is for hexes. Fuck yourself. What are you doing down there? Honestly. Are you trying to hide? Jesus, dude. At least get under the bridge. What the fuck is this? Just standing here like I can't see you? Fucking hell. Some people. Why'd you have to do them like that? Hexes are a form of miracle, which are based on faith, though hexes are based on both faith and intelligence. They actually, in this game, require a separate catalyst from miracles still. So they are more like a fourth type of spell. There are sorceries, pyromancies, miracles, and hexes, each of which requires a different catalyst. This can cast everything but pyromancies. So I use it just in case I decide to branch out at some point. Alright, good. Whoa! Did not see you there, buddy. Alright, we're going this way to a wider area. I said a wider area, not a thinner area. Oh, you're just leaving, huh? Well, I'm glad you decided to stick around. As a fan of Jaya Ballard, I have to wonder what good is a wand that can't cast pyromancies. This boss fight is okay. It's one of those ones that's rapidly turned into a normal enemy later on, so I'm just kind of meh on it just because of that. The fight itself is fine. We are, of course, bringing Lucatiel. Oh, come on, dude. Don't be an ass. I meant to do that. Hitboxing, am I right? No, pull out the sword. Shit. Was not watching that. 1 second. This is a thing that is great in Dark Souls 3 because you never actually have to worry about your weapons breaking. The mechanic is still there, technically. It just doesn't fucking matter because it takes so long for anything to break. Like, they might as well have gotten rid of it entirely. But they kept it because that's a thing that exists in Dark Souls games. And you know, you got that list that you gotta go through. Alright, can't just take control of the ship from here. It's locked. Alright, where was Lucatiel's thingy? It's back this way. There it is. Alright, Lucatiel. You wanted to help? Righty-ho. Breath of the Wild, actually, people compare it to Dark Souls a lot. I haven't gotten to play it myself. I don't think it's terribly Dark Souls-like. Oh, you mean in terms of the weapon durability thing? I don't know. In general, I don't mind weapon durability. It's not done particularly well in Dark Souls. But it's not done completely poorly either, so... Like in Saga, weapon durability is an integral part of the system. And that's why it works there. Here it just feels tacked on at best. And it is occasionally intrusive. I mean, in Dark Souls, basically every mechanic you can mostly... I forgot there's these little shits in here during this New Game Plus fight. Congratulations, now you're in an annoying fight. Cut that out. No, Lucatiel, you can hit him now. My side's active. Now, instead of dodging, for some fights, you can stand just outside, just barely outside of the hitbox of an attack. And that's really effective. That involves learning the exact hitboxes, which are not related to the way the attack looks in any way, but once you get there, it makes a lot of stuff really trivial. Oh, I meant to do that. Like that one, you can be hit from like several feet away from the end of the weapon. Thought their name was Too Bad. That would be great. That's like a wrestler name. Alright, so not a terribly difficult fight, no matter what loop you're on. The Pyromancer's flame is up ahead. So, make sure it's not a mimic. I can't imagine anyone would be cruel enough to put a mimic in a room this small with a hole in the middle. No, I take that back. That's literally the first mimic in Dark Souls 3. Although it is down the hole, so that's a little better. Oh, it was a He-Man villain. Huh. Can't circle to the right. There is no right! If I go right, I'm on his left, too! Skeletor hired two guys who couldn't work together, so he magically fused them together to force them to learn to cooperate. Wow, I do not remember that episode. There's Pyromancy Flame and a Fireball. And let's head out. That's where it hints that you're supposed to ring the bell, by the way. You can't get here without having already rung the bell. Ah, it was in the comic. That makes sense. The comics had a very different canon than the show. So there's the boat we came in on. We're gonna go this way real quick. Grab a couple of items. Reveal a secret. Please don't do that. Smash this guy regardless of his shield being up. Yeah, real effective shield. Need that 100% physical and dark resist to beat me. Pretty sure I still have all of them somewhere, the tiny ones that came with the figures. Very cool. It's in one of these directions, one of these 4 directions. There it is. That's where we're going next. In a couple of episodes according to the charmingly named Wiki Grayskull. Oh, that's nice. Alright, so what we do... Oh! I stopped to explain and didn't realize I'd already stepped on the button. She's telling me not to do that. There's a few wrestling references in this game. Those emotes are not in Dark Souls 1 and 3. Alright, let's go back up again. Alright, now we step on the button, roll the fuck out of the elevator. Step on top of it. And then we go right through the door. Dizzying. And for that, we get a scimitar and some repair powder. Totally worth the trouble. Repair powder actually is in the first loop, though. Especially if you're using large weapons. Because large weapons tend to break down much... That's not true. Daggers break down extremely fast. Yeah, in the first loop, sometimes repair powder is a necessity, and it's frustrating that it takes so long before you can get unlimited stuff because you have to get all the way to Castle Dranglake, which is about 3/4 of the way through the game. Alright, so here we are, back at the Lost Bastille again. This is the alternate entrance. This is where we were right at the start after going past the false alarm boss room. Later on, we'll have a 5-alarm boss room, if you know what I mean. I mean the room's on fire. Here, come on, laugh with me. Thought you meant a boss rush. No, no. 5-alarm like the fire. Is 2 the one with the invisible witch? Invisible witch? I'm trying to think which has an invisible witch. Dark Souls 3 has an invisible witch as the first boss of the first DLC. Or the final boss of the first DLC, rather. That's the only invisible witch I can think of off the top of my head. 2 big scythe pals. Why is this not coming to me? Yeah, for some reason this isn't ringing a bell and I feel like it should. So, I really like the lighting that the bonfire puts off. I think that's beautiful. Especially since it makes me look extra sarcastic. I did ring the bell already. I did ring the fucking bell. So, yeah, we've reached the Lost Bastille. It's almost 7 o'clock. Our internet's going to shit itself in about 45 minutes, tops. So now's when I should really be leaving off. Thank you everyone for joining me for this afternoon stream. We lost 166 frames total, so that's a pretty good night. Our internet's not great during the day. We still get bouts of packet loss here and there. But at least it's not at night where we get upwards of 15 to 20% packet loss at all times for 12 plus hours a day. So, you know, good stuff. And yeah, after I hit disconnect, we're gonna raid Riz's channel, watch him play some games, and trying to think. Oh right, I need to get back into the schedule here. So first of all, you can see below us on the page the truck community streamers. You should follow all of them. They're all great. And here on this channel, we 5 have a schedule that we try to keep. Once again, for now, streams are starting at around 3 to 4 p.m. and going till 7, due to our internet service provider somehow managing to refuse to fix our internet, which is losing 15 to 20% packets all night long, making it completely impossible to stream at a reasonable hour. Regardless, tomorrow, Andrea will be playing Plunge and starting on Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. Wednesday is our Community or Wildcard Day. Probably doing Starbound, I think? Who knows? That's why we call it a wild card. Thursday evening will be Alice with more of Batman the Telltale series. Friday will be Katie with our belated episode of Press Any Key this month. The theme is dollar store games, where she'll be playing some games that are $1 or so on Steam. That's going to be interesting. It's different than what has been done so far. Usually it's a bit of an indie spotlight, or spot stamp. You know, a bit of both. Saturday morning, are you going to do the wild card stream?
In the morning, no.
Oh, well, nothing Saturday morning then. Sunday is Kristen. I was like, wait, how did I miss Christy when I was going through the days of the week? And I'm like, oh, I didn't, because she's on my old day, which is Sunday. Christy will be playing probably not more Ark Survival Evolved. What are you doing?
Mercenary Kings.
Mercenary Kings. Great little side-scrolling open-world metro exploration platformer shoot-'em-up game. It's a little like Metal Slug, if Metal Slug were open world. So it's pretty rad. And Sunday's back around to me with more Dark Souls 2. So thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time. Give my regards to the next frog you meet.